Hello everyone, it's Jasmine, copywriter and certified content marketing strategist, and today I'm going to talk to you about how to write well. Hi, I'm Jasmine, copywriter and certified content marketing strategist, helping you get set up for success online through the power of copywriting and content marketing strategies. Let's get to it. Now, I know this is kind of a daunting task for those of you who may feel like wow, you're not a writer, or you may be thinking writing isn't your thing, but maybe you understand the value of this skill set, especially if you're in business and you want to just understand how you can improve this skill set and how you can just write better, how you can write well. Then this video is for you, right? So there are a few things that I want to touch on as it relates to you learning how to write well. And the first thing that I want to touch on is all about you being knowledgeable about the topic. So whenever you're writing, that is the most important thing. Like, if you want to write well, you, number one, have to be knowledgeable about the topic. And you could do that by having the personal experience. You have the personal experience, or you can just be well versed in the research of the topic that you're doing. So, even if you don't have much experience in the area, if you do enough research, then you'll have enough information that you could share to where the article or the blog or whatever you're writing could be written well, because you're well versed on the topic, right? So that's rule number one. You have to be knowledgeable about the topic, right? If you want to write well, right? Because people can tell if you don't know about what you're talking about, if you don't, if you're not giving them any new information, or if you're not giving them anything particularly, I guess, you can tell when someone isn't knowledgeable about the topic. If you either flat out just sound like you don't even know what you're talking about, of course it's not going to be written well. Of course someone wouldn't see that as, hey, this person knows how to write well because no, like, you have to be knowledgeable about the topic. And then that's the first important thing. The next thing is you have to be knowledgeable about the audience. So you have to know the audience that you're writing for, whether you're writing essays for college, or you're writing a novel, or you're writing a sales letter. For example, you always have to be knowledgeable about the audience that you're writing to and that you're writing for, because that's part of writing well, is understanding the tone of the text. So if you're writing more formal or informal, or if you're writing just all of that plays into whether the text is written well, is the tone and all of that, and you need to understand your audience so you can dictate how the tone should be. Because if you're writing super formal, super technical, and super professional, but your audience is fifth graders who who may be interested in a free iPhone, then of course that was probably a bad example, but hopefully you get the point as it relates to if you want to know how to write well, you need to know about what you're talking about as far as have knowledge about the topic. You need to know about who the audience is. So have knowledge over those two things. Those are the first two things that you need to do before we can even constitute whether this is a real written piece of work or not, right? And the next thing is all about, grammar, right? And there are a number of ways around it. If you aren't familiar with how punctuation should be, about past and present tense, about just different things. I know a common thing that people usually do will be like comma splices, or they'll switch from first person to second, they'll switch from the different persons. What else? Those are the main things that I find when I'm editing content, is that those are the common mistakes that people usually make. If besides misspelling words or that type of thing, it falls down to the simple grammar, and there are few ways around that if you're not well versed in how the English is designed to be as it relates to written text and grammar. You can definitely take advantage of Grammarly and there are a few other platforms like that. You could also do, you can hire an editor, if depending on what it is that you're working on, you can do that, and that'll help you also. Or you can have someone look over it as well. As far as like, if you don't want to hire anyone, maybe you can get a friend or someone, or a teacher, or who knows. I don't know who but maybe you can have someone who can just help you out and read it over. But definitely grammar is like the third thing. If you want to know how to write well, you have to have something in your repertoire to support you with the grammar part of things. So an editor of some sort, whether it's a friend who's going to edit it for you, an editor that you're hiring, or using software like Grammarly to help you, then that is for sure something that you want to make sure that you have in your repertoire, right? And what else? The third thing, so we talked about when you want to know how to write well, you definitely need to make sure you know the topic, know the audience, and you, as far as the grammar. And if you want to know how to write, you need to understand about organization, right? And so every story, every piece of content, whether it's on social media, whether it's a blog, whether it's an email, whether it's a website page, whether it's a novel, whether it's an essay, it all should have a clear beginning, middle, and end. Organization is so important. You don't want to jump around from subject to subject to subject and then back to the first. No, you want to make sure everything flows very well and naturally leads into the next point, right? And so you want to make sure that you have order to what you're doing as it relates to writing well. So that's definitely an important part of the puzzle when you want to know, is just to take advantage of, just to be mindful of the organization and how you're organizing your thoughts, making sure that you're starting off with a headline, introduction of the main topic, point number one, all about point number one, supporting details. Point number two, all about point number two, supporting details. Part number three, all about part number three, supporting details, and conclusion. And it doesn't have to be like 5 paragraphs long or whatever. Like, you can adjust the paragraphs and lengths of the sentences and lengths of the text according to what makes sense for whatever you're doing, as long as you have a clear beginning, middle, and end. That is the most important thing as it relates to organization. Also making sure that you're staying on topic, so don't just jump around from point to point to point, making sure that whatever you're saying just naturally flows into the next thing. And so making sure that it's organized. That is the fourth most important thing as it relates to learning how to write well, right? And the last thing as it relates to learning how to write well is all about reading. Reading is so important. That's going to help you write well, because the more you read and the more you write, then you're going to see your writing improve. So get in the habit of reading text and books and magazines and all kinds of different types of literature, even outside of your normalcy. So if you aren't used to reading luxury travel magazines, read some luxury travel magazines. If you aren't used to reading medical journals, read some medical journals. Read all kinds of, expand your horizon as far as the type of text you read, and you will see your writing improve naturally because you're reading more, and then your writing will improve because you've read more. So hopefully that makes sense. Yes, so those are 5 very helpful tips to help you learn how to write well. Let's go over it once again. Be knowledgeable about the topic, be knowledgeable about your audience, make sure the grammar is cleaned up, make sure there's organization, and then also read more, right? So those are 5 ways that you can improve your writing. Those are 5 ways to help you learn to write well. So take these tips and run with it. Thank you so much for your time. Hope you have a beautiful rest of the day. Now go out and make some magic. All right, bye.